Hey, welcome back to my channel. It is Christian here, and you're tuned in for more of my 2 cents. Hopefully you guys have had an amazing week, you're having a great day, and you're ready for some good, engaging dialogue, all right? So over here, what I love to do on my part of the YouTube verse, is share my thoughts, my opinion, my 2 cents on an array of topics, right? So we're talking about from religion, spirituality, family, love, marriage, friendship, and life in general. Okay, so if you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. And if you are coming back for the first, second, or 93rd time, hey y'all, hey, thank you so much for tuning in again today. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We would love to add you to our 2 cents crew. And I think it's getting better and better with time, right? So the holidays are amongst us. You see, I've changed my blanket on my chair, honey. Got the red lips as usual. And yeah, I feel like this is going to be the great time to pose even more thought-provoking topics and having great dialogue and discussion about things, because people are about to be around the table a lot this season, okay? Passing the turkey, passing the dressing, passing the sweet potatoes, and don't forget, you cannot forget by no means the cranberry sauce, okay? Okay, so with all of that going on, I want to make sure that you guys have some great things to talk about and that you are equipped with the resources and the words, okay? With the knowledge to challenge some of your family, your friends, and all of those things on some of these topics that you may also have an opinion on, but don't really quite know how to articulate it, because that happens often, okay? So that's what we do over here. Today's topic is going to be one that is from personal experience. It's something that I'm actually doing right now, my husband and I, in our household and our family, and as a Black woman, as a woman in general, but specifically Black. Y'all may be like, why she say that? Well, because homeschooling is not something that is widely popular in the Black community. And that's for several reasons. So I like to give backstory, and then I like to engage in the topic, right? So this specific video is going to be talking about why we decided to homeschool, okay? My husband and I, Courtney, are both entrepreneurs. We are millennials, so I'm 34, he's 35. Our children are 5 and 7. Our son is in the 2nd grade. Our daughter is in kindergarten. And this is something that I think we always wanted to do, but we didn't really put forth a lot of effort in making sure that we could do it like intentionally until 2020, 2021-ish. Like the energy just really bursted up out there at us. And I will go through the points of how we got to this place and a lot of the reasons why we decided to homeschool and unschool, right? So I don't know, the unschooling side may be a different video. I may be able to get it all in 15 minutes. We will see, okay? But this is going to be very enlightening, and I need you to keep in mind the entire time, I don't normally give disclaimers, but I'm going to do this today. Everything is not for everyone. So I am not trying to make anyone feel bad about what they either do or don't do, have done or did not do. This is just my 2 cents, my opinion from my experience, okay? So I'm not trying to make anyone feel like, yes, we should all do this. Just like I don't do with church. I don't tell you to leave your church or to walk away from Christianity or the faith. I give my 2 cents on a lot of the things that happen in these environments, but I'm not telling you what to do with your life, your family, your beliefs, okay? So this will be the same for this video. But I want to give food for thought, considering a lot of things that go on in our society, and school being number one is a big deal for me as a parent and someone who is forward thinking about all things, not just one little thing. I would like to think that I'm a well-versed individual that likes to have an open mind about a lot of things and use logic. So we are entrepreneurs. We do exercise a lot of freedom in our personal lives, in our marriage, in our home, in our parenting. And homeschooling was just another part of that freedom and liberty that we've decided to take into our own hands, because nobody's stopping us from doing it, right? So a lot of things that we do as adults and individuals are based off of either someone else approving them or denying them. We're not asking for permission over here, like at all, nowhere. Like, no, I don't need you to tell me what I can and can't do with my kids. So, homeschooling is not a very popular thing in the Black community because oftentimes we have not had A, the information or the resources, and B, the ability to do it because of the way the household structure is set up, right? So we know, and I just, put it all out there, full disclosure, in the African American culture and in our construct, we are highly affected by single parent households, right? That is something that we do have, by and large, probably more than other ethnicities. We do have a leading statistic in being single mothers, and that is something that you cannot ignore, right? With that being the case, that means that with one parent, usually you cannot have that one parent staying home with the children with no income. Or if you want to go that route, there may be some government-based assistance attached to it. And by and large, that's just not the solution, right? And a lot of people just aren't going to live off of government assistance to educate their children. They just send them into the school system. Totally fine. My mother did it. Your parents probably did it. You're probably doing it. Not a knock by any means. However, for me, I knew when our children, like before our children were even born, it was a confession of mine that our children would never go to daycare. And then after that, it became a confession of our children will not go into a school until they can talk, until they can express themselves verbally and we can understand them in case something happens. That was something Courtney and I would say all the time before we even started a family. Our kids are not going to daycare. Our kids are not stepping foot into a school until they can tell us what's happening. And thank God that affirmation is literally what has been a manifestation in our lives and our families. Neither one of our children have ever been in daycare, and neither one of them had to go to school before they were able to talk. And I mean in clear, full, complete sentences and detail. And so I'm grateful for that, right? That was intentional parenting and intentional effort to make sure that that was an option and an opportunity that we could exercise freely and without restraint or fear. And that would just go from our son going to pre-K at a church. There's a church here in Frisco that has a school as well. So this is kind of when we were still, like when I was still on the fence about, oh, do I want to go to church or not? I wasn't, but I still wanted to send my child to the school. So we paid the tuition for that. And then his kindergarten year, we decided to homeschool him, but he was 5 going on 6, and he did not, the focus wasn't there, right? The focus wasn't there from him as a kid. And then me as a parent that is trying to do the homeschooling, my focus wasn't there. I just didn't have the discipline and the structure to actually teach him, right? Like I wasn't all in. And so we did 1 semester of the kindergarten year. We used the ABECA program because my mom used to be a principal. She told me about it. I looked it up. Great. We can buy the whole curriculum online, get the DVDs, pop them in every week. They have the workbooks. All of that came with it. So I didn't have to make up anything. I followed everything that they had. What worksheet went with what DVD, what part of the DVD do you pause to go over this, all of that. We had full lesson plan. But my son just wasn't feeling it. And he was 5. And I was frustrated. He was bored. We weren't going to keep this going. So I gave up with that. And we went ahead and enrolled him into public kindergarten at the time. He loved it. It was great for him, socializing, making friends, loving his teacher, all of that. So the next year rolled around. He did 1st grade in public school as well. Loved it. Was somewhat of a teacher's pet. And enjoyed his experience, made friends, socialized, all of that. Well, the difference between the kindergarten year and the 1st grade year was that I became more disciplined. I gained more structure. I had more intentionality about my life and my thoughts and my desires for not just self, but also for our family. And so my husband and I started kicking around the idea more of what we would do. Now, our daughter at the time is 3 and 4, so she's not really affected by this because no one has to put their child in preschool. That's not really a graded standard course or a curriculum that navigates whether or not your child is passing, failing, or anything like that. Preschool and pre-K is totally optional. So we weren't really concerned about her. We put her in ballet school and they had a little preschool system, a preschool curriculum, but she was only there for 3 hours a day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Girl, gonna make you some friends. So we weren't really that up in arms about her. But I think what really changed the desire for us was and has been a growing concern in our household for time freedom. Okay, y'all probably thought I was going to say something else. Not yet. We're going to get there though. So it was a growing concern for time freedom. The first incidences would happen when we had some family emergencies that did not allow my son to attend school, or we had to take him out early. Okay, cool. Well, you can't have more than a certain number of those in a 6-month period or in a quarter or whatever, semester, before the state or the school steps in to put you either through some kind of parenting, counseling, or training or whatever to make sure your child isn't truant, isn't absent, and all this other stuff. And that was a red flag and a problem for me. Like, it's a no for me. You're not going to tell me what I can and can't do with my kid, right? My first grader at that. It's not like he in high school and need to be learning certain things that you say he needs to learn. You just, no. He's mine, okay? You may have had him once, but I got him all the time. If you know the reference, you know. So I just, it didn't sit well with me that I had to go through, counseling, like attendance counseling with 30, 40, 50 other parents from the school district whose children had missed like 3 or 5 days of class, or had some, early dismissals and things like that. And I'm like, I don't like it. This is my son. He's missing probably what? The alphabet? Like, I don't want that kind of pressure. Now, I'm not saying I want my son to not have to do his work or not learn, but I'm saying that I'm not being negligent. But that's the world system. That's the standard for the school system. I respect that. We're going to consider keeping him home. So that was one of the first things. Time freedom in that regard, as well as just our lives in general, requires us to be more, engaged and active with our businesses. And we want to, and we do travel often. So we like to staycation, we like to vacation, we like to visit family. Sometimes we have to go out of state for our business, to other stores, to other events, for me speaking. And I want our children to be a part of all of that, right? So if I am already stepping out of the norm of corporate America and working a 9-to-5, why would I then subject my children and our family to what is the starting lineup and the foundation for the 9-to-5, which is school? And now we get to the notes. So it was a thing of time freedom. Wanting to be able to do what we want, when we want, unapologetically. I'm not apologizing for that. I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it with my family. And school was not allowing me to do that. I don't want to have to get you a doctor's note, lie, make something up, or feel the pressure for my family to not travel, go, do, be, or experience whatever we desire together because of this. My kids can learn anywhere. And that's the mindset that I started taking on and sharing with my husband, which he already agreed and felt the same way. But he acquiesced and was okay with our kids going to school if that was what we decided to do. The second thing after time freedom was safety. It became an even bigger conversation when we, had the experience here in Uvalde, Texas at the end of last year, actually, school year. Well, this is 2022 that this happened. Uvalde happened, but it was at the end of the year for the school year. Tragedy. That should have never happened to those babies ever. It shouldn't have even been, there shouldn't even be a possibility that a parent leaves their kid at school and gets a call that the school is under terroristic threat or attack. That I can't even conceive the conversation. That should not be attached to your children's education, safety. Yes, in school we did tornado drills. Yes, we did fire drills, but never did anyone ever have to talk to me and my classmates about what to do in the event of a school shooting. Nobody ever had to talk to me about that, y'all. And I know that if you're watching this video and you're within a certain age range, no one ever talked to you about it either. So that was very disturbing. That was very alarming to have it happen. Well, to have had it happen so many times over the last decade. Disturbing. And you have to take those things into account. So you take time freedom and then you take the safety element. No, I'm not saying that I can protect my child from everything, but that's something that's off the table now, right? Because of an action that we decided to take. That's our desire, our option, and we exercised it. So that was number 2. Number 3, and the most important thing that mattered for us with removing our children from school, and I will be doing a part 2 for unschooling, because I got a lot of notes. Okay, so these are the 3 reasons why we decided to take to homeschool, and then part 2 will be the unschooling, and I'm gonna break it down. Okay, I'm gonna break it all the way down for you. Number 3 was to be the main influence in their lives. I think that a lot of people don't put in, a lot of parents, I'm not gonna say people, a lot of parents do not put enough emphasis on being the main influencer in your children's lives. We know that right now on social media, influencers are everything, right? They're everywhere. There's an influencer for clothes, for food, for shoes, for makeup, for books, right? For hair. Like, there are influencers for everything, even YouTube influencers. Everyone is an influencer, but the first influencer are the ones that you live with, the ones that birthed you, the ones that provide you food and shelter, right? Those are your first influencers, your parents, your guardians, maybe your grandparents raised you. Those are your influencers. You took your social cues, you took and you gained your values, your moral values, your standards, your integrity. The foundation of who you are was heavily influenced by the people or the person who raised you. How it has gotten beyond that now, where the Kardashians are influencing our families, and you have Love and Hip Hop influencing our families and our culture, and you have the Real Housewives influencing our family and our cultures. And I'm saying this because they're influencing the adults, and then the adults are raising the children who have lack of values, because they too are looking at the influencers from their generation, TikTok, social media, their peers, and everybody in the family construct is effed up. Now, I'm just being honest. It is bothersome. It is very bothersome for me that is the attitude that is, we're just so flippant about as individuals and as parents. And I know that is new school and new age truth, because our parents weren't like that. My mom didn't have social media. She did not watch TV. If my mother had the TV on, it was on a Sunday morning when she had on Benny Hanns or Creflo Dollar or, Kenneth Copeland or the 700 Club. Those are her influencers, for whatever we want to take that for, right? But I'll take that over the other stuff that's right now influencing the parents of this generation, and then allowing the outside sources to influence them as adults, and then they're turning around and allowing their kids to be influenced by their own generational, constituents. Like, I couldn't imagine letting that girl Lele influence my 5-year-old. That may be someone you watch and you enjoy looking at on Netflix. Cool, great little cute funny show. But Lele is not your influence. Mom is. So in order to do that, you have to have as much control or access to your children's influences. Like, this is not what we do. This is how we operate as a family. These are our family values. These are the standards that we work by, that we live by, and that we engage with others by. These are the things that I want to instill in them. Not certain classroom settings, standards, and values, because that only teaches you how to be good in those settings, for those people and those instructors, right? In other outside sources. Not what you need to know when you come back home and you have to exist in the real world. Again, another comparison to school and corporate America. You're getting taught at school how to act in school settings for your teachers, how to be little robots and I sit here, I don't get up until you tell me, I raise my hand and ask for permission to use the bathroom, I'm ready to eat, but I have to wait until you say we go eat. No, ma'am, you're not going to play in my face. I'm going to influence that here, and we have the freedom to get up, go to the bathroom, eat, say, excuse me, I got to do this real quick, if we want to, because that's how we're going to flow in society when we get older, and we still have those freedoms as adults, right? So all of that plays a part in my mind of how we ultimately got here where we are homeschooling. And while I'm recording these videos right now, my children are still sleeping. It is a Friday, and they will get up, they will ease into their day, they will eat breakfast, they will take their showers, their baths, make their beds, wash their faces, brush their teeth, all that stuff, our routine and our schedule to get us into the learning experience, right? These are the points, right? These are the factors that helped us to determine that we were going to be a homeschooling family. So hopefully this gives some insight. My next video, part 2, is going to elaborate on the unschooling side of things, because there's a lot that you have to unlearn as an adult, as well as for the child who's been in school, before you can really flow into homeschooling, which is way more lenient and free. Not careless, not neglectful, but you're playing by a different set of rules for a different expected outcome. All right, so keep that in mind. If you've enjoyed this video, and if you want any resources on homeschooling, you have any questions on homeschooling, if you have any experience as a homeschooled child, parent, homeschooling parent, or anything like that, go ahead and let me know in the comments below, because I think I may end up doing a video on myths about homeschooling as well, or maybe I could talk about that in the second part. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next video. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We would love to add you to our 2 Cents crew. Take care. See you later. Bye.